So let's look at some of the reasons why we use pesticides. And let's begin the process here. We have lots of equipment, but I want to go a step back just a little bit. One of the key things here when you use a product, and let's say this tree and shrub that I use at my house to against emerald ash borer. So if you're lucky enough and you still got an ash tree like I do, you realize by using this product and other products like it, that in fact I saved my ash trees. And those of you that had not done anything, you probably have all your ash trees are dead and cut. And because of emerald ash borer, an invasive species that we have no controls except for this particular chemistry. Lots of benefits, but it starts with IDing the pest. And so just because I have an insecticide here doesn't mean it controls what this insecticide does or vice versa. You have to find the pest on the label. That's the key, whether it's insects, weeds, diseases, whatever. All right? So in order to pick the right product, at that point then we have options on the kinds of equipment we're going to use. If you have such a product such as this to make the application, whatever the brand is, throw them away. They're absolutely useless. It would take me 15 minutes to explain how to use it. And so what I really like are these. And again, it's another Ortho product, but what I want you to see is the difference on the top. The one that's right here has got a dial. So I'm going to take this and set it down because I don't want to talk about it. This one here has a dial, it's called the dial sprayer. And there are many different brands of dial sprayers. And what's really neat with this one is you don't have to know anything. If I have a concentrated material, I can just put it in there. Just dump the whole thing in it. Then I do this, and this is at the end of a hose. All right? And so what I do is I look on the label, and if the label says 4 ounces, as an example, per gallon, because this is calibrated per gallon, then all I have to go do is just spray, and every gallon of water that comes through, it pulls up 4 ounces in this example. Which brings me to an important point. Whatever the label says, is you don't put in more. I think dead is dead. You can't be any deader than dead. And in fact, when you start putting on more, if you're like say spraying turf or other areas, you can actually do damage to the things you're trying to protect. So stick with the label. Always stick with that rate. So if the label said, let's just say 2 ounces, I would just take the dial. I've got an arrow that's on the side right here, and it's on 2 ounces, all set to go. Now, well, how much do I put? That's an easy one. If I was spraying right behind me right here, and this was my bush, I would just spray until the plant is wet, and then I've got coverage. It's just coverage. And what is so cool with this one is when you're done, this is concentrated product, no water got in it. You can put this back into the container and you have no extra storage, you have no leftover, you have nothing to eliminate. It's about as clean as you get. All right, these are called dial sprayers. Love them, they work very well. Now, we get to what most of you have, some form of this. These are 3 old sprayers that I've had. And when I get a sprayer, let's say this is a 1 gallon. You look on the label and the label says 2 ounces per gallon. How much chemical do I put in it? 2 ounces. This is a 2 gallon sprayer. If the label said 4 ounces, because they're going to vary depending on the product. If it said 4 ounces, 2 gallons, I put in 8 ounces of chemistry. Normally, I fill it up about halfway full of water, and then I add my chemical to it, and then finish cleaning it out. Now, when you buy such a sprayer, the advantage of these as compared to these is I don't have a hose. I can go anywhere in my yard with this. The disadvantage is it doesn't go real high. So I can carry, they're portable, I carry them around, and what I like is I actually like them when they're a gallon, because it's not going to break my back to haul this around all day. What I don't like about this one is the green, because I can't see through it as I can this one here. So what I like to do is be able to see through it so that when I'm mixing up 1 gallon instead of 2, I can see where I'm at. Makes it much easier. A better sprayer is going to have a couple of features on it. One is at the very end of this one here. Sometimes it's up in the wand that you actually have a filter. And it's this filter that's going to collect little pieces of bark and leaves and twigs and clumped up chemicals that keeps your nozzle from being clogged up. That's one feature. So if you're buying one, in fact, if you ever want to go to a garage sale and somebody has one for sale and they want to sell it and they tell you it doesn't work, all you got to do is open it up and look. And well, lots of times you will see it just clogged up. The people that know it. Spend $1, clean it, you've got a good $30, $40 sprayer. The other feature of this one and this one is I've got this right here. And so what this does is when you open this up here, it relieves the pressure and shoots it out the side. This one here now is broken, but it's the same thing. There is my feature. As a comparison to this one, it's basically a throwaway. It has nothing at the end to catch debris, clogs up your nozzle. And on this one, when you open it, you have to go above it and then the air goes into your face. So again, some very simple devices. If I've got sprayers like this, I'm going to ask you, how many do you need? So I'm going to tell you at least 2, maybe 3 if you have a garden. So the reason is I want one for weeds only. And these would be my weeds in my yard, because these are herbicides and they can impact all kinds of plants. And we don't do a good job cleaning them out. So I want one that says weeds. And even at my house, and this is one of my old sprayers, I have weeds only as a reminder that this is only going to go for my herbicides that I put on my turf. Then I would have one for everything else, fungicides and insecticides to make the application. Now, a lady brought this up to me years ago and she said, well, Fred, you need one for the garden. And the more I thought about it, she was right. Because these are items that we're going to be eating, and we don't want to get turf materials in it or other products that have not been examined for consumption, residues, and etc. So one for weeds only, one for everything else, and then one specifically for my garden, which are primarily going to be your insecticides and fungicides. Most of you will handpick your weeds. All right, and so the last one is this one here. And this is called a trombone sprayer. So when you buy it, this is all you get is this right here. Again, a 2-gallon bucket. The label says 6 ounces per gallon. I put in my 12 ounces. And the advantage of this trombone sprayer, and we're going to go out there and practice it, is you basically pump it up. It's coming through this screen on the end. And the advantage is, as we'll see outside, that when we spray, it has the ability to go 18, 20 feet, something like that, and you'll see the pattern go out, spread out. This is great of spraying up high and keeping us off of ladders where a lot of people get hurt. All right, so as we saw from the clip there, that this can actually go really, really high. But if you also notice that it was pretty windy day today, and you could maybe see a lot of the drift coming off. And this is the disadvantage of this. The higher you go, the smaller the drops are going to be. So you have to pick a really good day to keep this from going all over yourself and places around you here. So again, a very useful tool to have. So got 3 of them here, 3 different kinds that you can use. There's benefits and strengths to each. As long as the identification is correct, as long as you know that that's the problem, which is not always easy to do, and that we use the correct rates, all of these products will work very effective for you.